My amazing chemistry channel, where I'm going to discuss about a new chapter. Already I've uploaded one video on surface chemistry, so this is the second video. All right, let me open up the presentation. So yes, let me discuss with this. Actually, in previous video I was discussing about the two type of adsorption, that is physiosorption and chemisorption. So let me discuss one again. There are two types of adsorption. First one is physiosorption. There are mainly two type of adsorption: gases on solids. If accumulation of gases on the surface of a solid occur on account of weak van der Waals forces, when there is a adsorption on the surface of a solid because of weak van der Waals, so we consider it as a physiosorption. And second one is chemisorption, when adsorption is due to the formation of chemical bonds, and bonds can be ionic, it can be covalent bond, it can be ionic bond. Or so I have discussed in the slides, the chemical bonds may be covalent or ionic in nature in the chemisorption, and it involves a high energy of activation, and is therefore often referred to as a activation adsorption. Okay, so chemisorption is also considered as a activated adsorption. Sometimes these two processes occur simultaneously, so and it is not easy to ascertain the type of adsorption, whether it is a physiosorption or it is a chemisorption. Okay, so a physical adsorption is at low temperature may pass into chemisorption as the temperature is increased. So what happen, कोई भी process हो रहा है जिसमें physiosorption हो रहा है, but when there is a gradual increase in temperature, so it gets converted into chemisorption. For example, dihydrogen is first adsorbed on nickel by van der Waals forces. Okay, this I have given an example of dihydrogen gas when it get adsorbed on the surface of nickel by van der Waals forces. Now the characteristics of physiosorption. Okay, there in this slide I have discussed about the characteristics of physiosorption. First one is lack of specificity. A given surface of adsorbent does not show any preference for a particular gas, as the van der Waals forces are universal. Second one is the nature of adsorbate. So here I have discussed about the nature of adsorbate. The amount of gas adsorbed by the solid depends on the nature of gas. So here what we have discussed, that it actually depend upon the that physiosorption, it has a lack of specificity. Second one is the nature of adsorbate. So in this nature of adsorbate, the amount of gas adsorbed by the solid, it depends on the nature of gas, what kind of gas has been adsorbed, that is actually important. In general, easily liquefiable gas will get adsorbed at high temperature and are readily adsorbed as the weak van der Waals forces are stronger near the critical temperature. Okay, third one is the reversible nature. Physiosorption, as I told you, that it depends on the temperature. So what happen when there is a high temperature, it gets converted into chemisorption, and again temperature comes down, so it gets reversal. So I have written that physical adsorption of a gas by a solid is generally reversible. Thus, more of the gas is adsorbed when pressure is increased. The volume of the gas decreases and the gas can be removed by decreasing the pressure. Since the adsorption process is exothermic and the physical adsorption occur readily at low temperature and decreases with increasing in temperature. Okay, so it is as per your Le-Chatelier's principle, because Le-Chatelier principle के according क्या होता है, that always there will be an equilibrium. So the factor because of which there is a disturbance in the chemical equilibrium or equilibrium, so the process will go in that direction so that equilibrium will be maintained. So in this again what happened, as I told you, that physiosorption will happen, but when there is an increase in temperature, so it gets converted into a chemisorption. So what happened, as per the process, accordingly the temperature comes down and it will be reversed. So physiosorption is a reversible in nature. No need to learn down everything. If you, whatever I have highlighted, these points are very important. If you remember these points, that is more than sufficient. Okay, next point is surface area of adsorbent. The extent of adsorption increases with the increase of surface area of the adsorbent. The finally divided, as I told you in my previous video also, that adsorption is a process which actually depends on the surface area also. Okay, so as the area increases, the adsorption also get increased. Last one is the enthalpy of adsorption. No doubt physical adsorption is an exothermic process, but its enthalpy of adsorption is quite low. It's around 20 to 40 kilojoule per mole. Okay, Next one is characteristics of chemisorption. I already discussed about the characteristics of physiosorption. Now the characteristics of chemisorption. It is having high specificity. First point is chemisorption is highly specific and it will only occur if there is some possibility of chemical bonding between adsorbent and adsorbate. Next one is irreversibility. That is irreversible in actually physiosorption is reversible in, and chemisorption is irreversible process. Why it is irreversible? Because there is a chemical bond formation, a new compound will form, so it will not reverse. As chemisorption involves chemical compound formation, so it is irreversible in nature, because once a starting material or something gets chemically converted, a new compound will form, so it is not possible that the process gets converted back and the starting from the product again it will get converted into reactant. So chemisorption is a permanent process or it is an irreversible process, and chemisorption is an exothermic process, but the process is very slow at low temperature on account of high energy of activation. Like most chemical changes, adsorption often occur at the rise in temperature. Next one is physiosorption of gases. Adsorb at low temperature, it may change into chemisorption at high temperature. Usually high pressure is always favorable for the chemisorption. Very important point to remember बच्चों, आपको focus करना है थोड़ा सा, that chemisorption is always occur at a higher temperature. Okay. Next one is surface area. As I discussed about the physiosorption, similarly here also, if there is an increase in the surface area, the more area the adsorbate will get, so chemisorption also get increased. So I have written over here like physiosorption, physical adsorption, chemisorption also increases with increase of surface area of the adsorbent. Alright, moving on to the next one, that is enthalpy of adsorption. Enthalpy of chemisorption is also high, like 80 to 240 kilojoule per mole, so as it involves chemical bond formation. Now in this slide I have discussed about the difference between the physical adsorption and the chemical adsorption. The forces operating in this case, in the case of physical adsorption, is weak van der Waals force. However, as I told you in chemisorption, it is ionic or covalent in nature. Second point is the heat of adsorption is low, about 20 to 40. However, if you talk about chemical adsorption, heat of adsorption is very high, from 40 to 400 kilojoule per mole. Next one is the process is it is reversible. As I told you, in physiosorption, when temperature comes down, automatically process get reversified, so it is a reversible process. However, in chemisorption, it is an irreversible process. Next point is it does not require any activation energy. However, for a chemical process, as we already discussed in so many videos, that there is a certain amount of energy required to initiate the reaction process. So chemical adsorption requires an activation energy. Next one is it takes place at the lower temperature and decreases with the increase in temperature. However, in case of chemical adsorption, this type of adsorption increases with increase in temperature. Alright. Next one is it is not specific in nature. All gases adsorbs on all solids to same extent. However, in case of chemical adsorption, it is very specific in nature, and it only occur by the possibility of the formation of chemical bond. Alright. Next one is it increases with the increase in surface area of the adsorbent, and in case of chemical adsorption, it also increases with the increase of surface area of adsorbent. Okay, so as the surface area increase, both the processes, there will be an increase in the adsorption of physiosorption also as well as chemisorption also. Next one, in physiosorption it forms multimolecular layer. In chemiadsorption it is a unimolecular layer. All right. Next one, very important. Let me tell you, every year from this topic, one question you will definitely get in your board exam, in your competitive exam also. So let me discuss adsorption isotherms, the variation in the amount of gas adsorbed by the mass of the adsorbent, that is your M. Okay, gas I have denoted by X. With pressure at constant temperature, it can be expressed by a means of curved term as adsorption isotherm. Here we are going to discuss about a isotherm which we are going to draw in the next slide. It is between the gas adsorbed and the mass of the adsorbent. So which there is a curve between them, and that curve is described by a scientist called Freundlich adsorption isotherm. So in 1909, scientist Freundlich, he gives an empirical relationship between the quantity of gas adsorbed by unit mass of a solid. So the adsorbent and the pressure at a particular temperature, there is a relation X by M is equal to Kp upon 1 by N. So what happened in this equation, very important to remember. So guys, do write down this equation. x by m is equal to kp by n, where what happen on this we apply log. So log x by m equal to log k is a constant, plus 1 upon on n log p. Okay, here k and n are constant, all right, at a particular temperature and for a particular adsorbent gas, and n is always greater than 1. Always remember that n has to be always greater than 1, indicating that the amount of gas adsorbed does not increases as rapidly as pressure. It actually, the adsorption process is actually dependent on the pressure, but it does not increase as the pressure increases. So there will always be a difference. So at low pressure, x by m is directly proportional to p to the power 1. So at high pressure, x by m is directly proportional p to the power 0. Okay, at moderate pressure, x by m is directly proportional to p to the power 1 by n. So here you can see there is a curve between x by m and pressure, where x is the mass of the gas adsorbed on the mass of the adsorbent at pressure p, and k and n are constant. Already told you that k and n is a constant at particular pressure p, and x is the mass of the gas that get adsorbed on the adsorbent. Okay, so which depend on the nature of the adsorbent. Very important to remember that which actually the adsorption process depend on the nature of the adsorbent and the gases at a particular temperature. So the relationship is generally represented in the form of a curve, where mass of the gas adsorbed per gram of the adsorbent is plotted against the pressure. Okay, so the amount of gas adsorbed versus the pressure. The curve indicates that at a fixed pressure there is a decrease in physical adsorption. All okay, very important. Third point is very important, that there is a decrease in physical adsorption while increasing the pressure and with increase in temperature. These curves always seem to approach a saturation at a higher pressure. So there is a saturation. What happened at a certain temperature and pressure when you initially increases, so there will be increase in adsorption, but what happened after a period of time, there will be a saturation in this process. And this equation is very important, that is the amount of gas adsorbed, x by m is equal to kp to the power 1 by n. So the validity of the Freundlich isotherm can be verified by the plotting log x. I already discussed about this equation, log x by m is equal to log k plus 1 by n log p. So here there is a curve between log x by m on your y-axis, and on the x-axis we have taken log p. All right. So the validity of a Freundlich isotherm can be verified by plotting log x by m on the y-axis and log p on the x-axis. So if it comes to be a straight line, okay, need to understand bacho, if there is a straight line, the Freundlich isotherm is valid, otherwise not. Okay, if there is a straight line, then this Freundlich isotherm will be valid, otherwise it will not be valid. The slope of the straight line is given in the value of 1 by n. Okay, so slope is equal to 1 by n, gives the value of 1 by n. The intercept on the y-axis gives the value of log k. So there is an intercept between this intercept actually gives the value of log k. Already very much clear from this slide also. So you guys just go through this presentation, the video, everything will be very clear. In case of any doubt, you guys can comment on my video. Do like, share and subscribe my channel. So Freundlich isotherm explain the behavior of adsorption in an approximate manner. The factor 1 can have value between 0 and 1. Okay, so thus above equation on holds good over a limited range of pressure. So this equation is only for a limited pressure range. All right. Next one is where 1 by n is equal to 0, x by m is equal to constant. The adsorption is independent of pressure. All right. So 1 by n is equal to 1, x by m is equal to k p. So x is directly proportional to p. The adsorption varies directly with pressure. Already discussed that the adsorption is actually dependent on pressure. So when there is a variation in pressure, there will be a difference in the adsorption also phenomena. Both the conditions are supported by experimental results. The experimental isotherms always seems to approach straight saturation at a higher pressure. After a period of time, what happened at a very higher pressure, there will be a saturation, and this cannot be explained by the Freundlich isotherm. Thus it fails at higher temperature. Very important to remember the condition. That condition is that higher pressure Freundlich isotherms is failed. Now the application of adsorption. First one is the production of high vacuum. The remaining traces of air can be adsorbed by charcoal from a vessel evacuated by a vacuum pump at a given temperature to give a very high vacuum. Second one is in the gas mass, already discussed initially in the first video. To actually absorb the poisonous gases, there is a carbon particle on which these poisonous gas gets absorbed, and the person, those who are wearing this mask, they get the purified air. Third one is the control of humidity. Silica and aluminum gels are very good absorbent, they absorb the moisture. Next one is removing of color matter from the solution. As I told you in chemistry part, you must have seen, and in practical labs also, carbon particle activated charcoal has been used because it absorbs the color from the solution. Next one is heterogeneous catalysis. Already given you an example of nickel catalyst. It absorbs the hydrogen gas and later it will used as a hydrogenating agent. Adsorption of reactant on the solid surface of the catalyst increases the rate of reaction. There may many gaseous reactions in industrial importance. Industrial importance already told you in reduction reaction like nitro to amine. Here nickel catalyst and hydrogen gas get adsorbed on the nickel surface. Next one is the separation of inert gases due to difference in the degree of adsorption of gases by charcoal. A mixture of noble gases can be separated by adsorption of the coconut charcoal. Okay. Next one, in the curing of disease also, a number of drugs are used to kill the germs by getting adsorbed on them. Next one is froth flotation process. A low grade sulfide ore is concentrated by separating from the silica and the earthy matter. In this method, froth flotation is basically used for in metallurgy to obtain the pure metal. So it is also a kind of adsorption. Next one is adsorption indicator. Surfaces of certain precipitates such as silver halide have the property of adsorption. Some dyes like using fluorescent and thereby producing characteristics. So these are used as a indicators also. And the next one is in chromatographic analysis, very important bachcho. Thin layer chromatography, as you goes in the higher studies also, TLC, that is thin layer chromatography and chromatography analysis is very important. And in this phenomena, it is basically based on your adsorption. So chromatographic analysis is based on the phenomena of adsorption, finds a number of application in analytical and industrial fields. Let me tell you, through chromatography we can purify the organic compounds. In TLC, which I told you about, thin layer chromatography, organic scientists, medicinal scientists, they use to check the formation of a compound, in which they put the stains on the slides on this TLC plate and they elute it in a solution through which they actually check. क्या करते हैं बच्चों, TLC प्लेट्स होती है, उसके ऊपर हम लोग स्पॉटिंग करते हैं, देन उसको हम इल्यूट करते हैं. सेम आई हैव गिवन यू दिस इन दिस वंडरफुल डायग्राम. यू कैन सी देयर इज अ बीकर फुल ऑफ सॉल्यूशन और उसके ऊपर हमने TLC प्लेट्स रखी हुई है. तो क्या होता है, जब इसमें हम स्टेनिंग कर देते हैं, स्पॉट्स लगाते हैं, देन वी इल्यूट इट इन द सॉल्यूशन. तो धीरे धीरे क्या होता है, बिकॉज ऑफ दिस देयर इज अ प्रोसेस थ्रू विच एक्चुअली सॉल्वेंट मूव्स अप, कैपिलरी एक्शन बोलते हैं जिसके थ्रू. तो अकॉर्डिंगली जो अभी हम स्पॉटिंग करते हैं, द स्पॉट्स ऑल्सो मूव्स अप. So this is basically an adsorption at the solid surface. So this phenomena is very important for analytical as well as industrial fields. Okay, thank you so much, bacho. So here I have stopped this video.